Welcome to the extended version of this lesson on the goal. We've already covered what the goal is and how it's related to the opportunity and the stakes. But now, let's talk about how to nail down your goal, how to magnify your stakes, and see everything in action in the 2004 stoner comedy Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. Let's start by nailing down your goal. Sometimes the goal is obvious because it's inherent in your story idea. For example, if your idea is a guy training to break a world record, the goal is almost certainly going to be breaking the world record. But other times, especially if you start with your character, it might be hard to nail down your goal. The trick we like to use is something we call a goal statement. It has two parts, an action and a target. The action is going to be a verb, and that verb will be acting on the target, which will be a noun. The action can be anything like rescue, kill, find, win, etc. The target can also be anything, a person, a monster, an object, a competition, etc. What matters is when you put them alongside your protag, you'll have a goal statement. So, as an easy one, the goal statement of Saving Private Ryan would be to save Private Ryan, where the action is save and the target is Private Ryan. In the earlier example, if your protag is trying to break a world record, the goal statement would obviously be to break a world record, where break is the action and a world record is the target. You'll want to get as specific as possible to make sure your story is as interesting as possible. Notice it's not save a soldier, but save Private Ryan, a very specific soldier. In the same way, your world record story could get a whole lot better when you change break a world record to break the world record for most jalapenos eaten in a minute. More specific, more interesting. Now, let's cover a secret we use to make stakes more powerful. In the last extended lesson, we talked about wants and how the best wants are the most relatable. Well, big surprise, the best stakes are relatable as well. And as we said in the last lesson, the most relatable stakes will be the ones that are deepest in our monkey brains. Let's look at that hierarchy of needs again. The best stakes threaten the protag's physiological needs, the most common of which is their life. That's why action, horror, and thriller stories are so popular. As we move up, putting things like their house or their job on the line is still powerful, but less powerful. And threatening things like their status or reputation is going to be the least relatable. It doesn't mean you shouldn't use them, but keep in mind what kind of story you're writing, who it's for, and what they relate to most. An art film will have different stakes than a movie of the week. Now let's see the goal in action with our in-depth example.
Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle is a 2004 comedy that follows Harold and Kumar, two best friends as they get high and, you guessed it, go to White Castle. The story follows a tried and true quest myth, but replaces the epic destination with a fast food restaurant, adding to the hilarity of the story. If we were to make a goal statement for this movie, it would be to reach White Castle, where reach is our action and White Castle is our target. As you can see, this fulfills the criteria we set out for a goal. It is tangible, i.e. it can be accomplished in the physical world. It is specific, since it's not just any restaurant, but specifically White Castle. And it's a binary pass-fail. Either they reach White Castle or they don't. This goal is also tied to the protag's want. Even though Harold and Kumar are different characters and want different things, their overall want for the story could be stated as satisfaction. They are both craving White Castle, and they want the satisfaction of eating there. Kumar also loves getting stoned, something which leads to his want of satisfaction, and Harold is crushing on his apartment neighbor, hoping for romantic satisfaction. And, as mentioned, the protags are using the goal of reaching White Castle as a strategy to fulfill their want. We said the protags will decide on the goal after being presented with the opportunity. In this case, the pair are stoned watching television when a commercial for White Castle comes on. Both are trying to reach their want of satisfaction, and wouldn't some delicious sliders just completely satisfy their munchies? So the opportunity here is to eat some White Castle food to satisfy their hunger, which leads perfectly to their goal of reaching White Castle. Now, because this is a comedy, the stakes don't have to be monumentally high. If we put these stakes on the hierarchy of needs, it would probably fall onto the top level of being the best you can be, which in this case is eating the best food you can eat. However, because it's specifically food, our minds are brought down to the bottom level. Even though we know they won't starve if they fail to reach White Castle, the movie plays it up that way, with a pair refusing to eat until they reach the restaurant. Also, throughout the movie, different stakes are used, including esteem when Harold is jailed, love and belonging when the two fight, safety when Harold's broken laptop threatens his job, and physiological when they see a cheetah in the woods. So this movie does, at some point, hit every level. And just like Saving Private Ryan, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle has a titular goal, meaning the goal is in the title of the movie. Other examples include Back to the Future and Get Out.
So that covers our extended lesson on the goal. Hopefully you now have a better understanding of not only how to nail down your goal, but how to express it in a concise way and ensure the stakes behind it are relatable. This extra knowledge will help a ton when we get to the A story or plot, because the A story is built entirely on the want and the goal. But for now, let's shift from talking about the external protag parts to the internal need and epiphany in the next few lessons.